Hey everyone, and welcome back to Classic Comics. Today I'm reviewing Children of the Atom number 2. Again, this is written by Vida Ayala with art by Bernard Chang. So last issue these characters were introduced. They're younger versions of X-Men characters. They're mutants, presumably, but they tried to use a gateway to travel to Krakoa to join the other mutants there, and they were unable to pass through the gateway. Now, the gateways prevent non-mutants from using them, so it begs the question, are they really mutants or are they something else? Now, we begin with the Avengers showing up at the Krakoan embassy in New York and telling the X-Men that something needs to be done about these new young X-Men, as the media is calling them. It's the kind of conversation we've seen between the X-Men and other heroes for years. You know, the heroes give vague warnings about possible consequences for what the mutants are doing. The X-Men give vague warnings about not pushing mutants too far, etc. It's getting a bit tired, I think. Then we see Gabriel, aka Cherub, he's the angel knockoff. He goes on at length about how people only see him as a young black kid and not as a person. Then he goes to a Dazzler concert where he meets the rest of his team and talks to an old friend. We're halfway through the comic at this point, and really nothing has happened except some long-winded conversations. Then they get news reports that the Hell's Bells, the villains they fought last issue, have escaped from prison, and then they leave to go deal with that. And there's another fight with the villains, and then the X-Men arrive and convince the Hell's Bells to stop fighting. And then they offer to take the Hell's Bells to Krakoa, and they agree. Then Storm offers to take the kids as well, but they decline for some reason. So Storm gives them some kind of device. I assume it's some kind of communications device, maybe, and tells them to use it if they ever need help. Then at the end of the issue, they go to that gate again that they were at last issue and are about to go through it. And it ends there. So, I mean, after reading this issue, my thought was, wow, just what a complete waste of time that this is. This is a great example of why comic sales are dwindling. This is the second issue, and the plot barely moves at all. It's really just a replay of the first issue again. We get all the same basic plot points. The X-Men have a conversation about the characters and what's to be done about them. The kids have some dull conversations about being mutants and how nobody understands them. They fight the Hell's Bells again, and then the X-Men show up after the fight and offer to take the kids to Krakoa again, and they decline. And then the story ends with them going to a gateway again. It's just the same thing. This is a textbook example of writing for the trade. There's about one issue of plot between these two issues, maybe. And God, it's so boring. I would bet you money that Vida Ayala doesn't even read her stuff. It is so tedious. She isn't the least bit interested in these characters, or in Marvel, or in superheroes. I mean, this may be one of the least creative comic books I've ever read. Now, it's fair to say there are plenty of characters that are copies of other characters. I mean, look at how many Superman knockoffs there are in comics. How many Wolverine knockoffs are there? How many X-Men knockoffs, for that matter? But just consider how little creative thought went into this. The plot beats are just carried over from the first issue. The characters are copies of X-Men characters. The villains, it's the same villains from last issue, and they're not new villains or anything. They didn't create new villains for them to fight, so no thought went into that. And 2/3 of the issue is just them feeling sorry for themselves and having the same conversations as last time. Who is this written for? I couldn't even tell you. Boring, plotting, storytelling, shallow characters who barely make an impression. Just, man, just thumbs way down on this. It's just skip this crap. I mean, $4 for this? Just, you know what? Buy a can of soup for 90 cents and read the label. You'll get about as much entertainment value, and it's cheaper. So let me know what you thought of this issue in the comments, and please do like this video before you leave. Also, please sub to the channel and hit the bell, and I will see you all next time. Thanks for watching.